Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Buzzing with Brilliance, where extraordinary entrepreneurs share their secrets to success. I am Mary Gooden. I call myself the CEO and founder of My Brilliant Life, a speaker, an author, a publisher, and I really help soul-inspired business owners, entrepreneurs, and mentors create more visibility, more impact, and more profit through sharing their story and truly shining their light. So today we are sharing the brilliant Martin Ricketts. Martin, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Mary. Glad to be here. Well, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I started when I was 20, but I grew up in foster care and I moved around a lot, went to 15 different public schools and high schools. So I had a very fragmented education. So I didn't go to post-secondary school. I was self-taught. But also while I was in foster care, I was bullied. So when I was 13, I started karate. Unfortunately, the bully started as well, but he only lasted for a few months. And 40 years later, I'm still here. So I'm actually a 7th degree black belt in karate and a 5th degree black belt in sword. And, martial arts really helped me in my life. My teacher was like my father when I was a teenager, and he put me through the tough stuff. And, when you're in foster care, you can go kind of two ways, right? And I was lucky to have him. So I learned focus and discipline. He gave me a place to focus my energy too, and that's exactly what I did.
I love that. I'd love to meet you in person, but I might have to take a few classes just in case. And I love that martial arts. I'm pulling that right out because it's a practice. And one thing I don't know about you in your serial entrepreneurship, a lot of these things are just they become a practice, a ritual of connecting with ourselves and connecting with our gifts and connecting with our skills and being committed and courageous enough to like put it out there. So I
Yeah.
imagine that the practice, I've practiced a lot of yoga, but it's that journey to really understanding the power of self.
Yeah, that's right. Like my mom teaches yoga, and there's a lot of the similarities between yoga and martial arts. Martial arts, I call it dynamic yoga, right?
That's
But it
good.
really is
That's good.
yeah, it really is a spiritual thing. In fact, my company's called Digital Samurai because I took martial thinking, which is about efficiency and precision. But there's also a phrase in martial arts called Shoshin.
Mm,
Shoshin means beginner mindset.
mm,
And in fact, when I was a 4th degree black belt in karate, I started sword. And I thought I knew what I was doing because I was already a black belt. And I didn't. I had expert syndrome. And so I had to take Shoshin and realize I'm a beginner in this and I had to learn. And having that attitude going into business is really, really useful
mm.
because one, you don't get your burr up when somebody says something to you. So constructive criticism, we see that as gifts. Gimme, 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 right? And in fact, the training that you have gives you the self-confidence that you don't need to be insecure. So I find, many years ago, I got out of that habit. So when someone says something, even if they don't quite say it in the right way, they might be a little condescending or rude, you can tear that stuff apart and look at, is there value in what they said? In fact, even your enemies or people that don't like you can find something in what they said. Maybe 90% of it wasn't true, but that 10%, maybe you are a procrastinator, or maybe you do this one thing that they said. So if you can take that kind of martial thinking to what value can I bring from that,
Mhm.
then, criticism and those sorts of things just wash off your back.
I love this. It's such great medicine because it's true. I say that to everyone I know. Just seek value. Just
Yeah,
whatever percentage,
yeah.
insignificant. Find this piece of value. So thanks for sharing that. So I know you're going to share with us three fun, brilliant tips of how other entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, business owners, mentors can find fun and easy ways to relate to their soul inspired business, their desire to create. But would you share just a snippet, Martin, for us today of your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah. Well, I started when I was 20, like I said, with the youth venture loan from the government. And I got all the stuff and I was really excited about it. And there I had all my equipment, my systems. I didn't have any clients. So I'd forgotten that the marketing part is what you've got to do as well. And so there's a couple things you can do, and we've developed a system around this to make your life easier as an entrepreneur. You know, Jeff Bezos talks about Amazon being customer obsessed. We are client experience obsessed, which means we want to take the friction out of the client experience and the interaction between your team. So we solve what we call technology chaos. And, you know, I laugh because people, you know, will say, we solve a problem most people don't know they have. And that's technology chaos, which is, I can't find that file. The link didn't work. I didn't get the attachment. I can't play the video. All of these things, any friction between you and your data, you and your team, that's technology chaos. And you can solve that by simplifying and streamlining the technology you use. So one of the key things we suggest is use one place for communication. Now, we don't use email internally with our team because email is a terrible communication tool, right? You get caught up in these threads and all this stuff. We use WhatsApp and WhatsApp desktop for communicating. Now, for sending information, we use Google Keep. Google Keep is part of the Google suite of software, both for Google Workspace and Google Gmail. And it's very, very good as a staging area for information coming into your digital world. Because what you really want to be able to do as an entrepreneur is capture information coming into your digital world, archive and retrieve it at will, then share and collaborate effortlessly with your team, no matter where they are. And Google Keep is a fantastic tool for doing that because it allows you to capture things in just a few steps, whether it's on your phone or your desktop. And so you want to be able to capture ideas and things that inspire you when you're wherever at any time. And you want to be able to do it in different forms. So Google Keep allows you to create a note, a list, a audio note, a image, a screenshot, or even a drawing. And you could do any of those things in like 2 or 3 steps. So it's super easy to be able to, you're outside, you say, oh, that's a good thing I could use for a post, or this is another thing I could do. So the act of creating your brand and building your business is a process over time. And one of the best things you can do right off the bat to make that easier is solve this technology chaos problem by limiting the number of places you communicate, limiting where you put things, and creating structure around your systems and processes and how you interact with your team.
That's a good tip. That's one place to communicate.
Yeah.
Can we call that, we're going to call that number one, make sure you have one place to communicate. That's brilliant because, you know, when you're talking to me, Martin, I'm like, Mary, you have like, actually this morning too, I was like, why do you have 3 different email addresses?
Yeah.
Can anybody relate?
Yeah.
Just, even still, can you just funnel them into one? But I love
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Now, the next tip I want to talk about is voice typing. Now, we have a micro lesson for this. We do micro lessons, short lessons that are specific and targeted. So I can send you this micro lesson later. We can talk about that. But voice typing is a really powerful way to increase efficiency. And it's one of those things that are directly within your control. We use an app called Dictanote, which is kind of like a Microsoft Word, but simpler, and it has voice typing built in. And we use another Chrome app called Voice in Type. And a company called Voice in Typing does that. And it's really powerful because, one, you can type across different tabs and stuff. Because some other things have voice typing built into it, like Google Docs has voice typing built in, but it's not as good as this one. And 2, you can create shortcuts with that. So we have a program called Client Concierge Service Bot. But I can just say concierge, and the voice typing will write that. So 1, it's faster. 2, it doesn't make spelling mistakes. And you can get really, really good at turning it on and off for what you're doing. So we use Dictanote as a staging area for creating copy. So as opposed to doing it in the tiny little comment section on social or whatever on a website, we do it on this Dictanote with the voice typing and these shortcuts, and then we copy it and cut it out and put it into wherever we need it. So Dictanote acts as this staging area for copy, and it's an easy place to do it. And we use Dictanote with that. We use voice in typing, and we use Grammarly. Grammarly works really, really well with Dictanote, and so it allows you to correct the stuff and contextual mistakes. I strongly recommend you buy Grammarly. It's not that expensive because it's not just about spelling. Now with their AI tools, it helps you with contextual mistakes and make suggestions on ways to say things. It's just invaluable. So when you combine that with the voice typing I'm talking about, and there's another one use called change case. It's for making things, capitals or not capitals, which you do all the time. So that those four things combined, Dict-to-Note, voice and type, change case, and Grammarly. Oh, one more, clipboard history. So I can say a word and it'll type something out. Heck, you could have it type out a whole paragraph. So if you have some boilerplate stuff you put at the end of things, you could say boilerplate 1 and it'll put a whole paragraph down. But this last one I just mentioned, clipboard, you want to be able to have a clipboard in your browser so that you're not typing things out. Because, one of my favorite sayings is from Einstein: a clever person solves a problem, a wise person avoids it in the first place. And by having things like your email address, your URL for your website, and other common things that you use in the clipboard History Pro is what we use, then one, you're not going to make mistakes, but more importantly, it's fast. You just go to the clipboard and find it and put it down there. So if you do those things, use those tools in that way, you can increase your efficiency and lower the amount of errors that you do. It's one of the fastest ways to increase your productivity.
I love all this. And this is good information. And I want to reflect something back too, that you have micro lessons on this stuff. So those of you that are listening, that because this is really powerful tech and it's easy. I feel like once you're set, you're set.
Exactly.
And I love that voice typing. I love that, in publishing, we're moving into that direction a lot too, because just like you said earlier, I'm out hiking a lot, and that's when some of the juiciest information comes in. And to be able to get on the app or get on something and just start voicing it has been a blessing, because I don't know about you. We talked a little bit about the idea of law of attraction and just being really in a good mindset before the show. Sometimes things come in and if I don't get them in something, they're gone.
You'll forget.
They're gone. So number 2 is voice typing, really getting yourself familiar with that aspect, because it can create a more efficient process for you, where you're not like, oh my gosh, it's content day, or I got to do copy, or I got to write this stuff, or and I love that clipboard, that last piece you added.
I love clipboards. In fact, on the PC I use called I think it's Clipboard Pro, but when I press the caps lock, it pops up with a menu and I just click what I want. So it's super useful to be doing that. And there's one more app that you should really use on your phone. That's Gboard. Gboard replaces your typing. And of course, so then it's, whatever you're typing on your phone, you're using that. And Gboard from Google is available on both iOS and Android. It has that clipboard in it too, so you can save things there. So when you're on your phone, you don't type your phone number, your email, you go on the clipboard and you send it. It also does real-time translation. I run an Airbnb, so I'm constantly dealing with people that talk a different language. So that's really useful. And then, and then you can configure it the way you want as well to do spelling mistakes and that. But Google's just introduced AI into that tool, and it's seamless. What it does is it uses context. So, you might make a spelling mistake, although not if you're voice typing, but it might make a contextual mistake. And then now it corrects that in real time. So it knows it'll do the one word, but then you can see it as you type, oh, that was the wrong word. It'll replace that word. So the AI tool makes it very, very easy to type and not make any mistakes and call back information really quickly. So I strongly recommend you use Gboard on your phone, whatever phone you're using. It'll up your game in regards to communications.
Hey, that was a call to action. Go get Gboard, at least. At minimum, leave wherever you find this amazing interview with Martin and I. Leave a comment if you can. I know we're going to be on YouTube somewhere. We're going to be in Extraordinary Entrepreneurs Lounge. We'll be all over the place. So yeah, let Martin know that you took that call to action and how easy it's making your life. All right, so tip 1, tip 2. So what do you got for lucky number 3, Martin?
Well, lucky number 3 is AI. Now, I just did a post about this the other day. Everyone's hearing about AI stuff. And I was talking to a writer, and he said, well, AI is not good enough yet. It doesn't meet the standard of writing and this kind of thing. And that may be true, but there's a lot of stuff that AI can do right now that's really, really good. We use ChatGPT and the GPT-4. It's worth buying it. There's three things that it does extremely well. First one is summarizing. And you know what? Humans aren't that great at that. I'm certainly not. So in interviews like this, when we get this, I'm going to take this and chop this up into little segments. And then I'm going to rip the transcript out of that. And then I'm going to get AI to compile it into a single paragraph. So taking your transcript from your Zooms or whatever it might be and summarizing it, that's one of the best uses for AI, and it does that really well. The second one you can do is creating structures. I was in a Zoom meeting like this the other day and a networking thing. I saved out the chat messages because everyone had put their info in there. But that's a text file, and it's really messy. It's just a big mess of stuff. So I used a prompt to take that and make that into a structured spreadsheet with name, email, phone number, lists. And they did a fantastic job. Of course, it's specifically the prompt engineering, the prompt AI prompt that you use for that. But I wouldn't have done that job at all because it would have taken an hour and I just wouldn't have done it. But it took me 2 minutes to do with the AI tool. So that one is a really, really good way of doing that.
I really love, I mean, it's brilliant to just take the transcript from your Zoom and pop it over there for summarizing. And does that also matter which plugin you have in, Martin?
Well, that one doesn't need a plugin. In the way they use
Okay.
it now, it automatically will take a link. So let's say you have a PDF or some document. Now these tools can summarize even documents that are a few hundred pages long. Now it'll summarize that into a page, let's say, and then you could take that page and summarize it into a paragraph. And so that kind of thing is really good. You can just give it the link and it'll automatically do it.
Sweet.
That's a really, really useful way of using it.
Yeah,
The third way is to create a script. So out of these different Zooms that I've done, I now want to take that info and I want to create a video from it. Well, you can ask ChatGPT to create a video script. And of course, with a script, you're going to want to know, what it opens with. So it's going to give you suggestions for what B-roll opens with a picture of the sun setting with the farmer on this field. That's one we did the other day, right? So it'll create that script for you. And then you can take 11 Labs, which makes the voices, and you can make a voiceover with that script and maybe use HeyGen, which is another AI tool, which does avatars. Now, I'll say this. Some people are saying, oh, I can tell that's an avatar, or this is, it doesn't look that great. First of all, this is the worst they'll ever look. So they're going to get better and better, and ultimately they will be indistinguishable from a real person. That's good and bad. There's lots of things around that. But my point is, if you're training, you're onboarding, you're doing these kind of things in your company or for clients, instead of giving them a PDF, you can now give them an interactive video with an avatar and a voiceover. And that's simply going to convert better. People are going to remember it better. A lot of people don't like reading. So essentially, when people say it doesn't look as good, compared to what? Compared to a PDF, it's a lot better. And in fact, again, if it's especially for training, it doesn't matter. And especially young people, they just don't care as much. I don't really understand why some people have a hate on for AI in that way. If you're an entrepreneur, you can leverage the heck out of it to increase your productivity. And this is one of the ways. In fact, if you're a coach, there's someone like that who has to be in front of people while they're making money, this is a really good way of you creating a secondary course that doesn't require, tons of money, that you then could generate money outside of your presence. Because if you don't have systems and programs that can create recurring revenues without you, well, then you're going to be chained to your desk. And it's very, very difficult to have the freedom lifestyle you want unless you start doing that. And now it's never been easier now to use these AI tools to create videos and content that you can then use for a programming course that you charge for.
Brilliant. It's true.
Yeah.
This is why we're here. There's so many ways to look at things. And you're right, Martin, people will have their opinion on everything and how useful. This goes all the way back to that full circle piece where we talked about seeking value in everything.
Yeah.
Even a percent or 10 or 20, or for a lot of us now, we are seeking, there's value in everything. 100% of every experience is me seeing the value of it. So
Yeah, that's a really good point. In fact, I'll talk to some people and they say, well, my client can't afford this. And I'll think that, well, get better clients, right? It's that mindset thing. If you think your clients can't afford this, well, you're right. But if you think you can get clients that can afford them, you're also right. So yeah, it's all about what you think and what value you think your stuff is worth. And you want to raise that expectation and focus, right, Mary?
it's all from here, it's all law of attraction. If you
Yeah,
ask me, you believe and you receive.
yeah.
You put forth what you like, just like you said. If you believe your clients can't afford your services, you're attracting clients that can't afford your services.
Yeah,
If
exactly
you
so.
think that AI is going to take over the world, in your world, because we each have our own individual reality,
Yeah,
you might feel the fear of that, and then you still won't attract clients because you're
that's
living
right.
in a place of fear, or you're going to create a clientele of fear-based clients.
Yeah.
So this is brilliant, and I'm so grateful at the opportunity to share a space with you today, Martin, and really be enlightened by your brilliance, truly.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you.
No, thank you. So I've got your 3 tips for anybody who didn't catch them, you didn't write them down. Just a quick reframe. We've got one place of communication. Oh my gosh, can I get an amen or an hallelujah on that? Like, I only have to go to one place to find everything. Number 2, again, the voice typing system, getting all that set up, which Martin, and I'll let you shout this out before we finish. There's micro lessons, I imagine, on all of these brilliant
Actually,
ideas that you've shared with us today. So we want to hear more about that. In case you were like, I missed it and I can't follow it, grab a micro lesson.
yep,
Investing in you and your business and your life and your service is your adventure, your journey to whatever it is, 6, 7, 8 figure success.
yeah,
It
yeah,
really is. I've learned this in the last 3.5 years. The more I invest in me, the more the universe invests in me, and the more money I find in my bank account, the more resources, the more opportunities, the more brilliant people I share space with, the more change we create. And then number 3, I went off on a tangent. AI.
yeah,
Find
yeah.
some value with AI, especially, I want to tagline this point. Uh, if you want to have streams of income coming in and you don't want to be sitting at your computer all day, use AI to summarize and create some of your resources, your digital resources, things you've already talked about, master
Exactly.
classes you've already created.
Yeah,
Pop them over there or get somebody to do it.
yeah. Repurpose your content. That's
Yes,
exactly what we
thank
talk
you.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I love how you summarize me. Tell us anything else. Last, final invitations, Martin. Final words of wisdom for our audience.
Yeah. Well, if you'd like to get some of the micro lessons we talked about, we're doing a master class on LinkedIn and we're sending them out there. You can go to monetizeyourstory.info to get our site, and you can request contact us and we can send you the micro lesson. And we have 12 that we drip out from our key programs on all these different areas. So yeah, that's the way we get people excited. We're going to give you wins so that you can see that our programs work, and then hopefully you'll sign up with us. But yeah, you go to monetizeyourstory.info and you can get us from there, or Digital Samurai on any social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok.
I love that, Martin. Thanks again for your words of wisdom today. I deeply appreciate you, and to all that are listening, keep journeying through your most extraordinary life, especially as an entrepreneur and a business owner. Keep showing up with all your wisdom
Yeah.
and enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
All right. Bye for now, everyone. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everyone. Thank you, Mary. Arigato.